What's up guys, and welcome back to Software and Hardware Solutions. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back at it again, and today I'm doing a Call of Duty Warzone FPS boost guide, and I'm going to jump straight into it. Now ladies and gentlemen, Call of Duty Warzone did an update this morning. There was about 300 megabytes, and that update did absolutely nothing. So what I did was, this morning, very early in the morning, I actually called up a friend that is running a 1070 Ti graphics card, and he's running a i5 CPU, and he's got 16 gigs of RAM. So we went into Discord together, and I asked him what type of performance he's getting with his graphics card, CPU, and RAM, and we did bench tests on these specific settings that I'm going to go over right now. And all you need to do is follow my guidelines. So this is for people out there that has low-end gaming PCs, mid-tier gaming PCs to high-end gaming PCs. Right, so I'm not going to make this video long and make it short, sweet, and simple. And all you need to do is follow my guidelines and you should be good to go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the game. And let me show you the settings you're going to need to use and what's going to be the best settings to use inside the game for best performance, increasing FPS, and better overall quality in the game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the game. And let me show you what you're going to need to do. Right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in Call of Duty Warzone right now, and I'm in the lobby for basically to change games or whatever the case might be. Right, so the first thing you're going to need to do is go to the option button over here, and we're going to go to graphics. Alright, we're going to go to display. Now, like I said before, these settings are specifically for people out there that is running low-end gaming PCs to mid-tier gaming PCs to high-end gaming PCs. Now, I'm going to go over each and every one of them and tell you what the benchmarks were basically for my friend's computer versus mine. Okay, I do not have the best of computer parts, and this is actually why I do these videos, because a lot of people out there on YouTube make videos like this, but they have really good computers. I mean, really good. So they do not have that much performance, lack or decrease in their game. But yet again, Call of Duty Warzone is quite broken, especially now in its state that it's in. So a lot of people are getting performance loss with even high-end gaming PCs. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into it. Let me show you what you're going to need to do. Alright, so the first one over here where it says display mode. This plays a big effect on a lot of people's computers. Okay? It plays a big effect on a lot of people's computers. So the best setting you can possibly use is going to be full screen. It's going to be full screen mode. If you run this game in windowed, full screen borderless, or full screen extended mode, you're going to lose FPS. You're going to lose performance in the game, especially if you are running multiple monitors. I repeat myself, especially if you're running multiple monitors and they're at a high refresh rate and they're at a high, 1080p and higher, 1440p, whatever the case might be, 4K. If you're running monitors like that, I highly recommend you do not select any of these but full screen. If you only have one monitor and you're doing, 60 Hertz at 1080p, you can play around with this and find out if you do more FPS in the game. You can actually put the FPS on in the settings in the game to see if you're doing more FPS. I obviously use MSI Afterburner. As you can see, it's on the top left. Anyways, so I'm going to explain these settings to everyone out there that is running different types of machines. Alright, so basically this is my update for everyone out there that really needs the fix, because a lot of people are, running into FPS problems. Okay, so the first one will be full screen. If you have a high-end gaming PC to a mid-tier gaming PC, I highly recommend putting this at full screen and do not change it. Do not change it at all. Keep it at full screen. If you're running a low end to a budget gaming PC, I do recommend playing around with this. You can actually put it in windowed or full screen borderless, meaning like it will basically be in full screen but it'll be borderless, so your game will look like it's in full screen but it's in borderless mode. So you could get an FPS increase depending on what machine you are running. If you really need to do this with a low end to a budget gaming PC, then you can change this to full screen borderless, but you do not get that much of an improvement. The improvement is very low. The improvement is like 5 FPS. I mean, if you're an FPS chaser or frames per second chaser, go ahead and change it to full screen borderless. Do not select this. You're going to run into problems. Full screen mode. Alright, next one, display monitor. Okay, obviously this is your display. I don't need to explain this. Everyone knows what this option is. And then Display adapter is the graphics card you're currently running. Now, I'm running a Nvidia GeForce RTX 2060. It's not a super. I'm not running the best graphics cards. I'm just running a normal RTX 2060 OC that is basically overclocked out of its box. And I did a slight overclock in MSI Afterburner. If you know how to do overclocking, I highly recommend doing it. If you know how to do it, I highly recommend doing it because you can actually increase FPS inside your game by a lot. Now, I've seen a lot of people that has way better machines than me that's in this option that I'm in right now, okay, that's doing 130 FPS, okay, 130, and I'm doing 200 in this menu here, okay. Anyways, so that's quite bad for people that's running 30 series cards and stuff like that, and really beast like CPUs and 32 gigs of RAM. Even though there's no difference in this game in performance from 16 to 32. If you have 16 gigs, you are good to go. You basically can't play this game at 8 gigs anymore. That's just a thing. If you have 8 gigs, I highly recommend going over to 16. Buy yourself another 8 gig stick, or if you don't have space anymore, you know what to do. Just get 16 gigs. Don't run this game at 8 gig. You are going to lose drastic performance in the game. Alright, so screen refresh rate of your monitor. This plays a big role on your monitor. Now, gaming displays or gaming monitors obviously have a higher refresh rate. So if it's at 120, there's a lot of monitors with different refresh rates right now. It's confusing. I mean, there's weird ones. I mean, there's 165. I haven't even known there was something like that. But anyways, whatever your display is on, okay, if you can do the highest you can select the highest one of your refresh rate of your monitor, okay. If you're a person that runs it at 60, keep it at 60. Do not change it. It will automatically keep it at what it's supposed to be. But if you know you have a gaming machine or a gaming monitor, change it to the highest one you can change it to. All right. Render resolution is obviously going to play a big role. This plays a very big role inside the game, okay. So if you're running the game at 1080p or 720p, keep it at 100. Render resolution scaling, keep this at 100. You can also go into the advanced mode and change it to your display resolution, the adaptive mode. So just keep this at 1080p as well if you're running this at 1080p and it's showing your native 1080p. Right. Dynamic resolution. Okay, dynamic resolution plays a very big role in this game as well. It really does. It plays a very big role in this game. Okay, so this should either be on disabled or you could enable this. Now, it literally tells you on the right hand side, it says render resolution is adjusted dynamically to maintain the target frame rate. Okay, that's your targeted frame rate, meaning this frame rate target. So obviously you want to disable this and keep this on the lowest setting. Aspect ratio, you are going to keep this on automatic. You can change this to whatever you want to depending on what monitor you are running. Alright. Sync every frame. VSync. Alright. VSync plays a very big role if you want to cap your FPS to a certain FPS of your refresh rate of your monitor. So if you have a 60 Hz or you want to do 60 FPS, you can cap it by enabling this. I highly recommend disabling this. It actually doesn't do much, to be honest with you, but it depends on the machine that you are running. If you're running a low-end gaming PC, then disabling this would be a big improvement. If you're running a very low-end gaming PC and capping it at 60 FPS and you don't lose under 60, you don't go under 60, then enabling it will help you just keep it at that constant 60 FPS. Now, I went over these settings with my friend with his older generation computer, so don't worry, I got everyone out there. Don't worry, I got you guys. Alright, custom frame rate limit, you're going to keep this on unlimited. Brightness, okay, Caldera map has changed, okay, it's quite bright. I highly recommend keeping this at default. Do not push it up, but it's your own personal preference yet again. Okay, display gamma, I always keep mine at 2.2. I do not change this, I keep this one just like this. Okay, Nvidia highlights, I highly recommend disabling this. Highly recommend disabling this. If you enable this, what it's going to do is you're going to get a decrease in FPS from, it could be 10, it could be 15, it could be 20 FPS that you're going to be losing depending on the machine that you're running. So just by putting this completely off is the way to go. All right, Nvidia Reflex Low Latency. This actually plays a very big role, a very, very, very big role inside this game right now at this very moment. Okay, and this is why I'm making this video. If you enable this plus boost, okay, or you put this on enabled, okay, or you put this on disabled, there is a big difference between putting this on disabled, enabled, or enabled plus boost. Okay? I don't care if you have a NASA machine or a machine that literally makes movies. I honestly don't care. You're going to lose FPS inside your game if you put this on enable plus boost. You are going to lose FPS. I repeat myself. You're going to lose performance. So I highly recommend putting this either on enabled to make the game at least look okay, right? Your game's not going to look not okay if you disable this. I have this on disabled and my game looks absolutely perfectly fine. So I highly recommend disabling this or play around with it by enabling it. But do not put it on enable plus boost. You are going to lose FPS in your game. Trust me, you're going to. Alright, once you're done with that, you're going to go to quality. I'm going to apply my settings, and I'm going to go to quality. Now, right now, at this very moment with Caldera and the latest update that they've brought out for this game, field of view actually decreases FPS. For the first time in a very long time in Call of Duty's history, field of view makes your game worse in FPS. Okay, so I play my game. My personal settings is 120. Okay, it's my personal settings because I like to play my field of view at 120. All right. Now, what's happening right now at this very moment while I'm speaking and you're listening to me is that if you turn this down, the sweet spot for this is 100 right now. So you can actually literally go and type this in like this and press enter. 100 will actually increase performance by a little bit. You can get 5 to 10 to 15 FPS increase by going and put this on 100. Now, no, it's not going to make it even increase even more by putting this even lower. You are not going to get all the way up to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 FPS by putting it as low as you can. That's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. That is not going to happen. So putting this on 100, oh my god, I can't get it on 100. I'm just going to type it. Alright, putting this on 100 will maintain more FPS inside your game. So I highly recommend, if you had your thing on 120, like me, if you're one of those people that play on 120, decrease it and put it on 100. This is the balanced mode, which is basically you can see a lot and you increase your FPS by a lot. Not that much, but you do get significant more performance out of your game with field of view. Who would have thought? This one over here, I highly recommend putting this on least, unless you a person that, it's your own personal preference and you want to keep it at default. I don't recommend putting it at default. I do recommend putting it at least and keeping it here. Alright, streaming quality. This plays a massive role on the game right now, at this very moment. Plays a massive role. Okay, streaming quality. If you put this on low, you're good to go with FPS. If you start increasing this like this, it's going to start eating more VRAM of your graphics card. Obviously, you do not want that to happen, especially if you're running a low-end gaming PC with like 4 gigs of VRAM, 3 gigs of VRAM, 2 gigs of VRAM. Okay, I don't know who's playing this game at 2 gigs of VRAM. But anyways, there's obviously people playing this game with all types of machines. So, putting this on normal is going to decrease your FPS. It's literally going to decrease your FPS. So I highly recommend putting this at low. As you can see, it went out of the red and now it's back over here. Texture resolution, this plays a very big role inside the game as well for FPS increase or FPS loss. You lose FPS by putting this on high. So if you have a monster machine that is capable of running this game at high perfectly fine, leave it at high. But I highly recommend playing this game at normal. There's actually no visual difference between normal and high in Caldera. Try it out yourself. There's no visual difference. What it's going to do if you put it on normal is you are going to increase FPS, use less VRAM, your GPU is not going to get as hot, and you won't thermal throttle your graphics card. So putting this at normal is going to be the way to go for medium to high end PCs, not very high-end PCs. Very high-end PCs, you go and put this at high, and you should be fine. Okay, but I highly recommend for people out there that's watching this video right now that needs an increase in FPS, put this at normal. Your game looks absolutely normal. That's why it says normal. Your game looks perfectly fine in the setting. If you're running anything like a 3 gig graphics card or anything lower than that, right? Okay, I don't know who's playing this game at lower than 3 gigs, but if you are running something lower than that, I know there's people out there that really wants to play this game, but they do not have the best of parts. Okay, if you're running a 3 gig graphics card, I highly recommend putting this at low. Do not put it at very low. Your game is going to look really bad, but you can put it at low on a 3 gig graphics card or lower. Put this at low and you should be good to go with FPS. You will see a dramatic FPS increase in your game. Trust me. So I'm going to keep mine on normal for the people out there that's running, mid-tier to high-tier gaming computers. Right, texture filter anisotropic. This plays a very big role as well on this game right now. Okay, so I highly recommend changing this. I always told people putting this on high should be fine for you. Okay, right now with the new update, right now in the Caldera map, it actually changes a big increase in FPS and performance, since my buddy did a bench test with his machine and I did a bench test with my machine, and we saw the mids, the highs, the lows, and what it does to the FPS of the machine itself. Okay, so if you're running a high-end, very, very high-end gaming computer, you are fine with putting this on high. Mid-tier to high-end gaming PCs, put this on normal. There is no visual difference in the game. You might see if you heavy on the... I don't know who plays Call of Duty and looks at the ground more than they look at the enemies and be like, oh my god, the ground looks so shit. I've never seen that before. I've never seen someone play a plunder match or battle royale or whatever the case might be, and you focusing on the ground to see, oh no, my game looks so trashy. This is not cool, man. I'm rather gonna put this at high and lose more FPS. Doesn't make sense. Anyways, so put this at normal. If you're running a 3 gig graphics card or lower, put this at low. Go ahead and do so. You'll increase in performance and increase in FPS. Particle quality. This also plays a very big role inside the game, and it changes FPS. You start losing FPS. You start losing quality with this. Okay? Low to normal, right? So low to high, sorry. Low to high plays a very big role in FPS also. It literally plays a big role in FPS. I don't know why particle quality right now on Caldera map is playing a big role in FPS, but you can go and put this on low, because particle quality it literally shows you what it does. So it says of the effects. You do not need to see the effects in the game unless you very, very focused on the effects in the game. You're not focused on winning or focused on enemies or whatever the case might be. Then you can go ahead and put this on high. This is mostly for single player games, to be honest with you, not multiplayer games. Go and put this on low. You will get more FPS out of your game. Go and try it out. You will get more FPS out of your game. Right, bullet impacts and sprays. I always told everyone to put this on enabled, because it actually makes the game look better, because you can actually see in the picture what it does. Right now, at the very moment, on this day that I'm making this video, you are going to disable this to get more FPS out of your game. You can get more FPS out of your game and better smooth gameplay experience by disabling this. I do not know why this is happening with Warzone right now, but you can actually increase your FPS by putting this on disabled. I highly recommend go and put this on disabled, okay? So this one over here, Tessellation, also plays a very big role on the game. Now, you will lose performance if you put this on all. Near, you will increase performance by a little bit. Disabled, your game's not going to look great, but you will get more FPS out of your game with this setting. Okay? So I keep mine either on near or on all. Depends on the machine that you're running. But going down increases FPS on your machine. This one over here, the Gore FX, yeah, I don't know. I've never really tested to see what the FPS difference is between Gore FX being enabled or being disabled. I don't know. I've never blown people's arms off all the time to actually bench test what Gore FX does to FPS. I'm guessing in my mind, just out of my own knowledge, that by disabling this, maybe you'll have a smoother gameplay experience, but enabling this, you have basically the same experience, right? On-demand texture streaming. Okay, this this one over here, I highly recommend keeping this on disabled. I highly recommend keeping this on disabled. If you put this on standard quality, if you put this on high quality, all it's going to do is it's going to make the game's quality look a bit better. That's all it's going to do, and that's it. It's just going to make the quality a bit better. But you are here for performance. You are here for FPS increase. So disable this, right? So we're going to get to this, where it says film strength. Okay, film strength plays a very big role on anti-analyzing. Okay, so film strength you are going to put all the way up to 1.00 if you have this on off. Okay, but I'm going to get to all these fancy things right now. Okay, so I'm going to put this back here. I'm going to put this back here. All right, Nvidia DLSS. Okay, disabling this for most PCs is the best option you can go for. It's the best option you can go for in this game. Because what DLSS does, it upscales the game. So putting this on, I'm actually going to tell you the performance that my buddy was getting and that I was getting. Okay, since I run a 20 series graphics card. Okay, so Nvidia DLSS works on 20 series graphics cards and 30 series graphics cards. They do not work on 10 series and they do not work on anything lower than that. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what this does. Okay, so disabled, for most people out there, best option you can go for. Alright, ultra performance. What ultra performance is going to do with 20 series cards and 30 series graphics cards, you're going to get a 26 to 29 increase in FPS. Okay? Performance, you are going to get a 20 to 22 increase in FPS. Balanced, you are going to get a 10 to 14 to 15 increase in FPS. Quality, you are going to get a maximum of 6 FPS by putting this on quality. So, the best situation for people out there when you run a 30 series graphics card is putting this on ultra performance. If you run anything lower than a 30 series or 20 series graphics card, go and disable this and keep it disabled. I highly recommend keeping this disabled. Alright, let's get to anti-analyzing. Anti-analyzing plays a very big role on FPS and performance and input lag also. It's very surprising that it actually plays a part of input lag inside your game. It literally plays a part of input lag. That's weird how it does on Caldera map. I don't know why it does, but as you all know, Warzone is quite broken. Okay, so best one you can actually put this on is this. Your game will look fine. Your game's not going to be the best on, like, you know, the whole visual effects like trees, especially trees. But are you going to be looking at trees or are you going to be looking at enemies that you want to kill? Trust me, you are going to be able to see your enemies better, because what it's going to do is it's going to stop focusing on making the trees look better, and it's going to start focusing on making the enemies being seen much easier by putting this on SMAA 1 times. Okay? For anything lower than a 3 gig graphics card, put this on off. If you have a high-end gaming PC, you can put this on this. But if you have a high-end gaming PC and you have this enabled like this needs to stay like this. If you disable this and it's off and you have a 3 gig graphics card, like I said, or anything lower, put this at this. And you won't see a very much difference between this and that if you have this on like this. Okay, so I'm going to put mine off and I'm going to put this like this. This is the best option to get an increase in FPS. Trust me, you're going to get an increase in FPS. Alright, this I did not do a bench test on at all. I wouldn't do a bench test on this because it's a multiplayer game. So I disable all three of these. You do not want this enabled. It's a multiplayer game. If you enable this, all of these, and lose FPS, that's your own problem because you're putting this on. Okay? If you get shot in the face because you can't see an enemy, because world motion blur is on, weapon motion blur is on, depth of field is on, and you get shot in the face because you move your mouse too fast and you get upset, it's because these three things are on. I highly recommend disabling this. It's a multiplayer game. Alright, this one over here, which is shadow map resolution, plays a very big role on your graphics card. If you increase this, it's going to start eating more VRAM of your graphics card, and you are going to lose FPS. I mean, I don't know people that plays this game that is very, very focused on shadows. Unless you see a guy on a rooftop, you know, and you may be at the bottom, and you see the shadow of him, and you're like, wait, I know exactly where he is. If you put this on Ultra, or Extra, sorry, what it's going to do is it's going to make the shadows look better. Are you going to be focusing on shadows in the game looking better? Or are you going to be focusing on killing someone in the game? Or actually, you know, beating a squad or whatever the case might be. So putting this all the way down to low or normal will be the best way to go. Because on normal, you can still see the shadows. It's just that they're going to be a little bit jittery. They are not going to look smooth. They're going to have a little bit of edges and stuff like that. But that's not what you're going to be focusing on. You are going to be focusing on playing the game, not the shadows of the game. Alright? I don't know anyone that goes into this game, plays the game, and focuses on shadows. And that's all they focus on. So, putting this on normal, or putting this on low, is going to be the best options for you guys. Alright? This, okay, right now, plays a big role on Caldera. I'm not going to lie. It plays a very big role. I've told many people to disable this because you can increase performance. Now, at this day, if you're hearing my voice, now, today, by putting this on enabled, you can actually have a smoother gameplay experience and you might get a small increase in FPS by putting these two things on. I don't know. It's always changing because Call of Duty is always changing with their updates, but they're doing some weird shit with their stuff. I don't know what the hell, to be honest, what they're doing. But enabling this can actually help you. So go and try this out. Go enable both of these things and go and try and play your game. You can actually get an increase in performance. Particle lighting, you're going to put this not on Ultra. Okay? I know it doesn't do anything to your graphics card at all, but it affects input latency. Particle lighting affects input latency. How the hell does that work? I don't understand how Call of Duty got that right. I don't know. I don't know of particle lighting giving input latency and stutters and stuff like that on other games. But on Call of Duty Warzone, it happens. So I highly recommend you changing this all the way down to normal or low. It's going to be your best option, and you are going to have a smoother gameplay experience by putting this on low or normal. So I'm going to keep mine at normal. It's going to be the best options for you guys. Alright, so I'm going to go down to DirectX Ray Tracing. DirectX Ray Tracing does not make the game look better. Maybe a slight bit, but that's about it. It does not make the game a smoother gameplay experience. It does not make your game better. It does not make you shroud. It does not do anything like that. Doesn't do wonders on the game, to be honest with you. To be honest, disable this completely. Obviously, if you do not have a DirectX Ray Tracing card, you are going to be able to... Obviously, when you have a lower-end gaming graphics card and you do not have an RTX graphics card, you can't enable this in any ways because it's not going to do anything. Alright? So, just disable this even if you have a RTX graphics card. You're going to lose performance by putting this on. It's going to eat more VRAM and you're going to lose FPS, performance, and input latency. So go and disable this. If this worked for you, leave a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you've never been on my YouTube channel before and this is the first time you're on my YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button because I see a lot of people are watching my videos but not liking my videos if it's working for them. I would appreciate people to actually come and like the video, leave a comment that it actually worked, what is their I don't know, performance that they're getting. Are they getting an increase in their performance? Whatever the case might be, leave a comment down below. Leave a like. I mean, most of the people that's watching my videos aren't even subscribed to my YouTube channel. I would appreciate it if this actually helped you in an increase in performance and FPS. Subscribe, because I'm going to be making more videos on Warzone. Ambient Occlusion also plays a big role in this game right now. And this is what Ambient Occlusion does. It makes dark corners even darker than what they are. So if someone's laying in some corner where it's dark and you can't see him, okay, go to this and disable it. It's actually going to make your gameplay experience in the game better. So putting this all the way up to both, you're not going to just not see the people better. You are going to lose FPS. Not a lot, but you are going to lose FPS. And this is an FPS boost guide. Plus, what this option alone does, it's going to give you more FPS. You won't lose FPS. Plus, you can see people better by having this like this. This one over here, disable it. A lot of people ask me why I disable this. Alright, putting this on high, it literally tells you on the right hand side what it does. So that's why I put this on disabled. But apply these settings, ladies and gentlemen, and you should be good to go. This will be my performance increase guide for people out there that really needs an FPS boost guide. That's what my YouTube is about. It's about fixing this game for people that really needs the fix. As always, I'm here to fix Call of Duty for every single person out there. It doesn't matter if you have money, or you're poor, or you have an expensive PC, or you have a low-end budget gaming PC. I fix this game for every single person out there because I give a fuck. As always, ladies and gentlemen, peace out.